the most popular blogger in the world. Yes, that's MrBeast. Have you ever wondered how he achieved this? I did, and here's what I came up with. There are a ton of factors. Today, let's take a look at how his thumbnails are structured. You have probably come across many similar videos, where the creators repeat the same thing. But today I will explain what makes them so clickable and why he is willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars on them. And let's start perhaps with the theory of color. Mainly, his thumbnails feature complementary, split complementary, triadic, and tetradic schemes. They allow for harmonious previews and create contrast. For example, a red circle contrasts well with green grass, which ultimately creates a focus, making the audience first concentrate on the red circle and then on the people inside it. Having one clear focus helps to understand what is happening more quickly, which increases the chance that you will click on the video. He also often uses the technique of color blocking. This is when the background is filled with just one color and its shades, which allows him to simplify the thumbnail and focus your attention on the main action. It is also important that he combines these techniques with each other. The red shorts contrast beautifully with the blue water and green grass, creating this scheme at the same time. Or take another example. The organized chaos and color blocking make you focus on the money and the character. This is very important for recognition. The water in his previews is always in azure colors. It doesn't matter whether it's the sea, a lake, or wells. You quickly understand that it's water and associate it with his thumbnails. The same applies to the soft green shades of grass. To draw attention to objects or people, his designers use bright contrasting colors for t-shirts or cars. Color associations bring the highest profit in terms of clicks. A golden car or a golden ship is immediately perceived as expensive. And together with a complementary color, they also look organic, just like golden ice cream on a purple background. On the cover of the Girls vs. Boys video, he specifically uses blue clothing for the boys and pink for the girls, which helps to emphasize the competitive aspect. He has another simple and useful technique in his arsenal: contrasting brightness. Jimmy's dark clothing stands out perfectly against the bright clouds. Yes, colors play an important role, but all of this would not matter with poor composition. This aspect of the clouds sounded particularly interesting to me. The Jin team uses a series of techniques to guide your gaze. The first thing I noticed is the use of leading lines. When a line of objects directs your eyes to a specific spot on the thumbnail, these can be walls with spikes that point towards the center, a white line that narrows into the distance, or simply a hand gesture pointing at money. There are many ways to apply this method. It helps to focus on one element, simplifies understanding, and creates visual clarity. This method also helps to showcase scale and fit many elements into the thumbnail while simultaneously demonstrating actions. Simple yet effective. Moreover, this way he adds a vanishing point to the preview, which gives the image depth and subconsciously attracts viewers. The next method, mentioned earlier, scale, helps the viewer compare the size of something familiar with what you are showing. For example, a person in the photo helps to understand how large the box is. This generates interest and motivates viewers to open the video to find out what's inside. The method can also be used in reverse. A small island on the cover during survival creates absurdity but clearly conveys the idea. And you probably noticed that Jimmy definitely loves to use shapes, often placing people within triangles and circles. They give the covers balance and harmony, just like symmetry, which is less common and is used to create comparison or add systematization to the composition. But what to do when there are many elements on the cover and in the video? 2 words: organized chaos. This is a method that Jimmy uses to add systematization. It helps to group objects into one element and simplify perception. It also prevents clutter by creating the illusion of chaos while maintaining logic and order. Such composition creates dynamism and intrigue, guiding the viewer's gaze. Another way to achieve this is by using the rule of odds. Compositions with an odd number of objects draw attention to the center, as the human eye and brain find it easier to perceive and find interest in odd groups. This creates balance and harmony while avoiding predictability. In addition to the rule of odds, Jimmy also uses the method of negative space. This is when a more empty background shifts the focus to the foreground, speeding up the understanding of the idea. This method is very often combined with others, such as color blocking or shapes. Another method, or rather a rule, is to use 2 to 3 elements in the image. Simple composition allows for a quicker understanding of the essence of the video, which is often achieved through the previously mentioned methods. Sometimes these elements are arranged in the shape of the letter F. The reading rule is used to guide the viewer's gaze. Since people are accustomed to reading from left to right, it makes the most sense to place the focal point on the left. Studies show that websites are most often viewed in the shape of this letter. Therefore, the main focal points should be positioned accordingly. The rule of thirds helps make the cover dynamic and draw attention to important details. And finally, the framing method that MrBeast often uses, depicting himself in shapes and objects, which again helps to focus your attention and simplify perception. Now that we have covered the basic visual techniques, let's delve into one of the most complex aspects of his design: psychology. It is she who controls color and composition, thereby manipulating your attention. But let's take a closer look. Even when MrBeast's channel was less popular, he realized that he could attract new viewers through personalities and trends. Therefore, he made videos featuring donations to major bloggers. There was no direct interaction with them, but the viewer received exactly what the cover promised, and having already gathered an audience. He invited famous bloggers to participate live and used current trends. For example, a video featuring a squid game to further expand the audience. This is called trend fixation. Another way to attract viewers is to evoke curiosity. You need to provide context, but hide some information that the viewer will want to know. For example, the thumbnail of a video about an abandoned warehouse raises questions. What did he find? Why is the warehouse abandoned? Why is it yellow? The viewer will watch the video to find out the answers. Here, you can already notice something interesting. Essentially, almost all titles are constructed according to a certain scheme. Each title contains context, stakes, and a twist. He has been using this format for many years, which is why the text on his covers is rarely seen. It is definitely needed only to add even more context and to reflect people's emotions at some stage of the trial. Let's take a closer look. This is a clear presentation of the video's goals and its value to the viewer. A promising and engaging finale. This motivates viewers to watch the video until the end in anticipation of a reward, creating a habit of watching his videos. This is an explanation to viewers of why they should spend time on your video. It is also important for the video to be as short as possible and not waste viewers' time. Stakes. This is what is at stake in the video. For example, MrBeast often gives away large sums of money. People are curious to find out how the conflict will end. Therefore, they watch until the end. Stakes create tension and engage viewers in the story. He uses several types of stakes, and most of them are divided into 3 categories. 1. Benefits. If you win the challenge, you receive a prize. 2. Competitions. Winning or losing will evoke positive or negative emotions in you. 3. Time. You have a time limit to complete the task. These stakes can be combined. For example, in this video, winnings, a competing group of people, and time are used as the main competitive factors. And finally, the twist. This is what makes your video unique and sets it apart from others, keeping the viewer engaged until the end and encouraging them to return to the channel. This is the highlight. Grabs attention and creates an expectation of something unusual among viewers. As stated in Seth Godin's book, Tribes of Innovation create uniqueness. On YouTube, this is especially important because uniqueness helps to build your audience. The twist in MrBeast's videos is not a unique idea, but also the enormous efforts and resources indeed truly significantly invested in production, which makes his content stand out from others. It is also important that MrBeast strives to exceed viewers' expectations from the very first seconds, giving them more than they anticipated. He uses a brief intro, showcasing moments that will come later. By creating hooks and additional twists and turns, this significantly increases watch time and attracts the audience. He anticipates future events, sometimes at the beginning and sometimes between segments, because this helps to increase viewer retention. Keep in mind that this wouldn't work if the titles were clickbait and lied to the viewers. Additionally, you may have noticed that MrBeast always uses strong emotions and exaggeration, which helps to speed up their reading. This helps convey the desired mood, and it is especially beneficial for his younger audience. It is also important to note that videos with bright emotions are more likely to go viral. The next powerful technique in the arsenal of his thumbnails is actions in the heat of the moment, which work quite simply by intriguing the viewer with a moment from the video, but not providing an answer to how it will end. In this case, as I mentioned earlier, the text on the thumbnail adds context. The last psychological technique I would like to discuss is comparison and contrast. In the video about the cheapest and the most expensive airplane, he divides the thumbnail into 2 parts. The cheap side features cramped space, torn seats, an unhappy Jimmy, and dirty clothes. Opposite is the luxurious airplane cabin. It embodies luxury, a golden color, positive emotions, and ice cream with a cherry on top. Such exaggeration makes the conflict clear and appealing. Contrast plays a significant role here. This can also be seen in the thumbnails where professions are compared, as well as in other videos. And everything I just described is only the tip of the iceberg. One of the most important roles in the clickability of MrBeast's thumbnails is the storyline and the subtle visual conflict that underlies them, which goes unnoticed by most. Let's start with the fact that there are several main types of conflict and ways to apply them. A throw on oneself. The main character places himself in unusual conditions to draw attention to the video. This can be related to a popular personality or extraordinary circumstances. The conflict is intensified by archetypes familiar to everyone. Money, competition, the struggle against nature, or against oneself. He portrays himself as the main character, which makes the videos popular and strengthens his brand. But more on that later. A sketch on the audience. An approach that emphasizes the fears, feelings, and interests of the viewers. The goal is to evoke an emotional response related to the viewer's personal experience. Titles often use the words you or your, which personalizes the video and makes viewers think about how they would handle such a situation. The last type of conflict is a jab at third parties. The focus is on actions or conflicts involving other people rather than the audience itself. Often these are competitions among groups of people. The goal is to evoke curiosity or interest in viewers to observe what is happening. His video thumbnails often display multiple conflicts at once. For example, MrBeast is at the center of the composition, but the title addresses the viewer. This is mixed with themes of money, life threats, love, and other basic conflicts, creating a storyline that attracts a large audience. Jimmy's team strikes a good balance between provocation and the credibility of information. Yes. It seems that there are many rules and methods. Sometimes it can be difficult to understand what and why he applies in a specific case. But even behind all this complex psychology, conflicts, and other aspects lies simple principles. Meet Chucky. He is the one who creates the covers for MrBeast. Essentially, he is the designer for the largest YouTube channel. Hundreds, possibly even thousands, of content creators look to his Photoshop skills and solutions. And despite how complex these covers are, they are based on just a few key elements. The first is attention grabbing. You need to create something visually interesting and eye-catching. The second is trust. It is important to ensure that people can trust what is depicted on the cover and that it aligns with the content of the video. And the third point is to evoke curiosity so that viewers want to learn more and click on the video. Let's delve into this in more detail, Tom. Trust is key to getting people to return and watch your videos.
Trust makes people come back and click on your videos. If we lied in one of our videos and people felt deceived, the audience would stop growing.
Therefore, it is important for the preview to be consistent with the content and for the title to complement it. The viewer must receive what is promised, or even more. Long-term trust helps to grow the audience and strengthen the brand. Consistency.
In 2019, we decided to go ahead and place Jimmy's face on every thumbnail for branding. If viewers definitely trusted Jimmy in one video, they will click on the next one upon seeing his face.
Consistency in design helps to build a loyal audience and distinguishes your content. In addition to the face, it is important to work on other branding elements. Compositions, colors, character processing, and more. Clarity. Chucky advises.
Make the thumbnail clear so that people immediately understand what the video is about and want to click on it. If it takes 10-20 seconds to figure it out, viewers are likely to scroll past.
Most viewers watch videos on their phones, so it is important for the thumbnail to be clear even in a reduced format and not overloaded with details. It is necessary to avoid clutter to prevent confusing the viewer. Now that you know the key elements, let's go through the process of creating a cover step by step. The first thing the team does is come up with an idea that can potentially attract a wide audience. Then they create about 50 cover concepts in the form of simple sketches, which they coordinate with Jimmy. At the same time, they optimize the title to enhance or contrast with the cover. After approving several ideas, they create 2 to 3 covers for A/B testing. In order to avoid compromising on thumbnail ideas, they take their photos in the studio and in addition add various elements. Shirts, clothing color, logo, MrBeast, all of this is done manually without neural networks. Their uniqueness lies in the fact that the thumbnails are conceived and created before the video is shot, rather than after editing, as is the case with most other content creators, many of which use screenshots or random photos. Now let's talk about something that no one understands. Testing covers. The MrBeast channel was one of the first to have this opportunity. This allowed them to test their theories. For example, they found that thumbnails with Jimmy's mouth closed increase watch time. This was tested on 30 videos and yielded the same result. Although the gap was small, it indicated that the designer was mistaken. Jimmy shared this on Twitter, causing a stir and encouraging others to make changes in this direction. Using testing helps the designer combat their own biases and practically understand which solution was the right one. They often test ideas from Jimmy and the designer to determine what works best. Now they can make decisions based on data and insights, which optimizes production and strengthens the brand. Sometimes they conduct more than one test on a video to ensure the effectiveness of the thumbnail. According to a YouTube algorithm analyst, the composition of the audience changes over time. The initial viewers are different from those who watch the videos months later. Therefore, MrBeast tests thumbnails not only on new videos but also on old ones to ensure that they are still effective. It is important to consider that what worked in the first week may not work a month later. Trends change, and this is crucial to keep in mind during tests. MrBeast's results show that watch time can vary by as little as 2% or as much as a significant 12%, but even a 2 to 3% difference can mean hundreds of thousands of views for him. That is why they test both completely different thumbnails and thumbnails that differ only in details, thus examining the influence of various minor factors. There will be a desolate or vegetative environment, the presence or absence of protection on the train, motion blur on the train, or the direction of the spikes. Jimmy can be between the train and the car, standing aside or driving. Such detailed testing helps maximize watch time. For the thumbnail about 7 days in solitary confinement, different emotions, angles, and on types of clothing were tested. In the end, we see that it was the classic tired face, the orange robe, and the white room that emerged as the winners in the test, which is explained by more familiar associations. I believe that testing is especially useful for small bloggers who can find their own approach to thumbnail design. For large bloggers like Jimmy, the audience is there regardless, and it will be more a matter of effectiveness. For new creators, tests can be more objective since there is no factor of fame involved. Therefore, the main goal of the tests is watch time, not CTR. It is more important to understand through the test whether the viewer stayed to watch the video longer or was disappointed and left without getting what the thumbnail promised. YouTube values watch time more than clickbait, because the longer people watch a video, the more ads they will see. Now everyone has the opportunity to conduct tests, so you, like MrBeast, even without his resources, can also build your recognizable visual style, which we will discuss now. MrBeast's branding consists of many elements. Some of the particularly significant ones have been discussed in the relevant sections. Now let's talk about the less noticeable but important details. The balance between realism and illustration. His thumbnails contain elements of mourning and simplification. They make dark and dangerous themes less aggressive. The lighting appears more artistic than realistic, which makes it more neutral and appealing to children. Various metallic objects look safe, which may influence YouTube's algorithms. When someone tries to replicate MrBeast's style, they often latch onto the facial editing. Indeed, the skin shows no flaws. It almost always looks flawless, with pleasant natural colors.
Like a lute. Indeed it is.
Although flaws are usually absent, scratches and dirt can often be seen on the face. They are used to emphasize the dangers of external circumstances. You may have also noticed that detailed textures, such as scuffs and scratches, are often visible on objects. Gleams on luxury elements. Gleams help to further draw your attention, while textures add detail, without distracting from the main action. Just like the detailed textures on the thumbnails. Torn, worn, or dirty items often appear to emphasize the theme or element of danger. I also noticed that the people on the thumbnails occasionally resemble stock photos. And last but not least, he is constantly learning. MrBeast has recurring formats, such as survival, competitions, and similar themes. And so, you can find similar covers in terms of ideas and composition, which improve over the years. Look, here is the same format through the years. In the new image, the appearance of lockers can be noticed, which are used as leading lines. The eyes are covered with money to avoid distracting attention from the character, while the stack of money is arranged in a way that demonstrates its quantity. According to Chucky, they do not use neural networks in the final version of the cover, but they do use them to come up with ideas, such as for generating golden houses. However, I noticed something strange on several covers. The stones in the lower left corner change as if two different images were generated by the same neural network. Such an effect is often observed in DALL-E 3. However, I wouldn't confidently assert that this is a neural network. It's time to draw your attention to a painful topic for me. Indeed, copying his design. Many try to create thumbnails like MrBeast's, but they do not understand the principles behind their creation. They focus on facial processing and colors without grasping their true meaning. This is a typical cargo cult, copying superficial elements without understanding the essence. Designers and their clients do not understand the true reason behind the success of MrBeast's thumbnails and videos. I naively believe that by borrowing a few obvious design features, they will attract more attention. But this is a mistake and a result of superficial analysis. After all, they release a huge number of factors that I revealed throughout the video. By copying him, you are promoting him, not yourself. Viewers will think of Jim, not you. They won't click on your videos because a copy cannot replace the original. And if they do click, they will quickly close it out of disappointment. MrBeast has earned the trust of his audience. The years. Using his style will not help you win over viewers. When Jimmy discovered that a closed mouth on the cover had a better impact on views, many took it as a dogma. The same goes for color. Everyone thinks that if he does something, then to achieve success, they need to do the same. But it is much more important to build your own brand by following Jimmy's principles: trust, consistency, and clarity. Understand that trends tend to change. Yesterday, an orange robe was in vogue, and today it might repel viewers. It is important to test what works specifically for your content. If everyone is doing the same thing, it might be worth going against the trend to stand out. You can read more about Cargo Cult by following the link in the description. And in my Telegram channel, you will find a short podcast that will detail how it works with headlines. I thought this information would be unnecessary for the main video. Now you understand how MrBeast's thumbnails appeal to viewers. They are much more complex than they seem. Now you know why it makes no sense to copy him and what you can learn from him. After everything I've shared, do you think that $10,000 for a single image is a lot? He spends millions helping people and producing videos in which you learn how he survived for a week in just 20 minutes. Most bloggers and script writers want to create a show based on what he does in one video. The fact is that his design is worth the money, as it is one of the highest quality on YouTube. And you can find a designer who will create a similar cover with a comparable level of quality for a fraction of the price. But will it be as multifaceted and suitable for your content? Will it be associated with you? Most likely not. He was able to create his own recognizable style. After all, he sought it out rather than borrowing it. And now, he is the one setting trends. This was Vovchan with you. Don't forget about the links in the description, leave comments, and like if you enjoyed it. This will help promote the video. Goodbye.